All right, we are gonna do a bit of a community round. It'll be all about the community today. We don't have a guest. Once in a while, we just do the three of us, and we'll be very active with interacting with you guys in the chat today. So get some, hopefully, like not retarded questions, and we'll dive into
That's
as
a
many
tough
as you guys.
ask, Jordy. I don't know.
Hopefully. I'm already seeing people talking about a new Taiki coin $sign dildo. So I'm sure this is off to a good
There's been
start.
so many of these. Everyone's trying to make.
Let's hit them with the intro to warm them up. Okay. All right, GM, everybody, episode 80. It's gonna be a fun one. I think we got a lot of like crazy stuff going on. I see people in the chat asking, where are we in the cycle? I don't know where we are in the cycle. I think it's definitely not early in the cycle, and I don't think we're gonna have a full bear market either. So my base thesis is that we're just gonna be in like a rotation cycle. It's a new kind of cycle. It's not a bull or bear, it's a rotation cycle. And it's gonna be choppy. That's how it feels. I don't know, Taiki, have you been getting chopped up already?
Well,
yes, I commit. Did you commit Sudoku?
Yes, I did. I did commit some Sudoku recently. So on Monday, I woke up and Fartcoin was like 90 cents. I just couldn't take it anymore. I just decided to commit seppuku with my sword. I sudoku I sudoku'd at the bottom. If there's anything that if the viewers can learn anything from my content, it's that this is the Wall Street cheat sheet. Wait, can you zoom in on the Wall Street cheat sheet? I'm just gonna I just bullpost on the way up and then I kill myself at the bottom.
I like how it's also slightly on the way down too, before real pain sits in.
Yeah, there's like the complacency, right? And there's hope. And then at some point it's like it's over. But I made it to the ER. I was saved.
Are you like in a situation like Murad where your wallet is doxed and people will know as soon as you sell, or like are you at least able to sell if you ever change your mind, or do you feel like a responsibility to first let everybody dump on you and then sell? Like what's your situation?
Well, I never did the Murad as in like, oh yeah, I'm not gonna sell until XYZ date. I have like a bunch of wallets. Someone tracked one wallet and I sent some coins to Kraken, and then someone accused me of dumping. But I have not sold a single fart coin. I'm dying. I'm willing to round trip this position, honestly. Like I think the risk reward is worth it. I think it's the coin of the cycle. I fart a lot, so hot air. National Fart Day in a few days. So hopefully that's a bullish catalyst.
So psychologically, you're prepared to just fully retrace.
Yeah.
You're ready for it.
I think like there's like this, lose this level and it's lights out level, which is like in my mind like 69 cents. Like if we lose 69 cents, it's lights out. So if we lose that, then I might actually commit Sudoku, seppuku. But until then, I'm gonna keep farting.
Okay, well, I have to say, it's a bit of like a weird week. ETH is the only thing up, like out of the majors.
Good coin, guys. Come on,
it's up a lot. Like it's moving right now, even as we speak. I checked. It's we're up quite a bit. Surprising.
Wow.
Yeah, 3,400.
It just took me bear posting ETH for a few days, and that was the bottom, I guess.
No, you're the only one bull posting, Justin. You're actually trying to pump everyone's bags.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Let's do a quick coin gecko just to see the top 20 coins. It is a dispersion week. I was looking at the weeklies. There's some bunch of stuff up a lot and a bunch of stuff down a lot. I mean, Ethereum is kind of caught up now, and so is flat with Bitcoin. Solana's down 10%.
Wow.
BNB kind of chopping. Dogecoin also not doing very well. Yeah, but you see like equal green and red, and it's very interesting. We're not getting the usual like high beta, low beta. The Trump coin is not doing particularly well. I think it's like around $25 right now. And there's a bunch of random like little pockets of things kind of being idiosyncratic.
Like today, a lot of ETH ecosystem coins are pumping. Like Pepe has been underperforming for a bunch, and now it's pumping. ETH DeFi, right? It's like even Lido is up. Lido is above $2. Congratulations to Lido holders. That community is euphoric. What's so funny, Justin? What's so funny?
So yeah, there seems to be like a rumor of an ETH staking ETF coming out soon,
right?
And that Lido would be the back,
kind
of like, that would be like how the staking would happen. I'm not sure how much value will accrue to the token, even if that's the case, but I guess at least that's something going on, which is, more than the usual like meme coin stuff. Although if you go back to CoinGecko and you look at and I was reading a Fortune article, this was kind of fascinating. Look at number one top gainer, Musket. So Musket is an interesting coin. There was a Fortune article that just dropped overnight that made the thing spike to like 200 million FTV. And now it's sort of like choppy all over the place. Basically, the father of Elon Musk has formally aligned himself with the Musket coin, and he said that he's been musking it longer than everybody else been musking it, and he's the OG Musk. I don't know if you guys can find this Fortune article. It's full of little details that are quite interesting. But yeah, this coin is going to be, I guess, representing him. Here we go. He says he's the head of the family, so he's the boss, and it's an interesting guy. Apparently, him and Elon are not on good terms, but remains to be seen if this meme coin will bring them together.
Yeah, I think in the Walter Isaacson book about Elon, I believe he was somewhat abusive, I think, when Elon was a child. So I don't think they're on speaking terms.
Yeah, but if a meme coin can't fix it, then nothing can. So maybe it'll work.
On the topic of ETH, there's this interesting question from Joshua Barnes here. He asks, let me see if I can find it here. But he asks, or excuse me, it was from Zatame. Since ETH supply is basically at even and it's about to go inflationary again, I think gas right now is at 13, but it's been hovering in the single digits. Are you guys worried about that at all? I mean, I know, Jordy, it was never really part of your thesis. You didn't believe in the ultra money thing. What about from a narrative perspective? Do you think it changes the game to where this is just another inflationary asset?
I don't know. I don't think it matters. I think potentially having a Wall Street ETF with staking yield will fit some mid-curvers like concept of a good ETF, and that could be good. So still holding on to my ETH. It's been a wild ride.
Same.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, it would be poetic if the ETH supply just fully retraced, or like the deflation fully retraced, and then that is like near the end of the ETH BTC bleed. But I don't know. I feel like the problems with ETH, it's going to take longer than a few weeks or a few months to resolve. Vitalik can't just put up a milady PFP and expect it to bottom, right? I was actually thinking about this. Do you think you know how certain stocks, like when they replace the CEO, like the stock pumps? Do you think if Vitalik steps down and someone new comes in, like Danny Ryan or whoever, would that like pump ETH, or do you think like Vitalik taking like an advisor role would be like bad for ETH? I don't really know the answer, but do you guys have any thoughts?
Well, Vitalik has this like weird kind of role, but definitely if Aya gets replaced by Danny, I think a lot of people will buy back in and be quite bullish about the ecosystem. So that could very well be one of those traditional situations where the CEO getting replaced is quite bullish. But yeah, the metas are Some people saying a bit depressive. Basically, like the latest meta after the AI meta was the grifting Trump meta. So, he launches his coin, and then there's the next coin, the next kind of Trump coin, and then there's all the stuff that World Liberty is buying. They're buying WBTC, and Justin Sun is saying that, the reason why they're buying WBTC is because this is the most decentralized, good product. And, everyone's kind of like rolling their eyes. Like, we kind of know why they're actually buying it. You just bought like 50 million of World Liberty Fi. So I think that was a bit depressive. A lot of people I talked to have been kind of like really introspecting around what they're doing in the whole space when they see this being the meta. But I'm in Satoshi Roundtable right now, speaking to people here, and much more positive mood. I think there's a few things going on. One is crypto AI is still have a lot of people optimistic. I think I kind of agree with this take from Ansem that we have it here. He's saying that this meta is still kind of something to spend a lot of time researching, and out of everything, even down markets, like this is going to be a place where quality teams might do well. Obviously, some people are thinking the meta is dead because some of their tokens, like Cerebro is one example, have like no floor. They've just been like, completely down only. And, one of the funnest things that we were doing pre-show was you can chart things with like Cerebro. So like it's, like somebody charted ETH against Cerebro, and the chart looks friggin' incredible. Let's show this tweet here, and then we'll show some of our Cerebro chats. Hopefully, like not too many holders in our chat holding Cerebro anymore.
I used to hold Cerebro. I bought it at like 40 cents. And
ETH holders absolutely eating right now. Well, I don't know if it feels necessarily like that when you look at it this way.
Can you click on the chart? Yeah, like look at this. Just what a rip, best chart in crypto when you put it against Cerebro. We were looking at Freza against Cerebro, and it's a piece of art. It's a Picasso. FAI versus Cerebro. Here we go. Pretty solid.
Yeah, I can't believe I bought this coin, the Cerebro token.
Taiki, I think you were right on your thesis here, in that like there's just so hard to pick the winners. I mean, who would have thought AI 16Z would be? I don't even know what it's at now, but it's down significantly and under $1 billion, I believe. Last I checked, I don't know if it's gotten a little bit of a bounce, but
it's 67 cents. It's like 800 mil, 750 mil. It's really brutal.
Wow.
Like, I don't know. I mean, on one hand, people blame Shaw because he's just going crazy. Well, he always goes crazy on Twitter. But on the other hand, maybe this was inevitable. I think, like Jordy said, it's like a really rotational cycle, right? Or this entire meta, the past few months has been very rotation heavy, where if you're just holding it back for too long, you just get Omega wrecked. Even like recently, there's like this meta of like jelly and like all these, like random shit that like pumps for like 24 hours and just goes down 80%. And like my opinion is that I think the best AI coin is Fartcoin, and there's like nothing that can like change my mind. So like that's my AI exposure. But yeah, it's really hard to hold any of these things. I round tripped a bunch of gains for AI 16Z as well. Like I thought it could go to like 10 bill, because the narrative was so strong, and then just imploded. This broken dreams.
At least you sold your AICC just in time to buy the Fartcoin dip.
Is that what's happened with that project? But while you're answering that, I did think this Murad list is sort of cherry picking the losers. It's missing SPX and Giga, I think, which are his two best performers. They're about flat or up 30%. But just look how hard it is to get things right in this space, right? Like this was so consensus, Murad's list, and he's cherry picking here, but the longer tail tokens that he had listed are down 85%. The majors he listed are still doing good, but it's just crazy.
I mean, Popcat was a major. Popcat was like one that he was specifically calling me out for saying that it was a cabal coin. He said this is the most has the best distribution, and you know, I even bought some PopCat at some point. That did not work out very well for me. This thing is down incredibly much, just like you know, a lot of these are.
Are distribution metrics just completely unreliable, Jordy? Like, are they gamed for listing purposes? Are they gamed from early holders, especially on Solana where it's gas is free? Is that true?
Completely gameable, 100%. Yeah.
I will defend Murad though. Like most of those coins on that list was not his coins. Like PopCat was one. I think Retardio was one. But I think people just love to make fun of Murad, you know. But you know,
I mean,
I'm a fan.
Yeah,
I'm a fan
bottom line, like the meme coin meta is obviously super rotational. Like, you know, there's no sign of blue chips, whatever. Like WIF was like below $1, and then they got like a little pump on the, you know, maybe the sphere will happen, and kind of went a little bit up. But yeah, having like WIF below $1 shows that there is no blue chip memes. Like this concept is it's not sticky. It's around like rotating. It's around like catching the next one. That's what's sustainable. So if Musket is the one now because, you know, Papa Musk is going to shill it, then that's the one right now that's pumping. And that's okay. On the AI side, I kind of disagree with Taiki. I don't think, you know, Fartcoin and Turbo and these things are AI coins, even if Cookie.fun wants to pretend that they are. These are not like agents. They have no like code. I'm sorry, Taiki. I'm sorry. Maybe
it's okay. It's okay. I understand. I used to be a mid-curve too, Jordy. I understand.
Okay. Well, at least I'm not getting dumped by an LLM who you know, who's holding 2% of my supply.
At least you didn't get seppuku. At least you didn't commit seppuku.
Wait, Jordy. I actually wanted to ask you about that. So Wintermute bought about 2% of the supply from Truth Terminal Andy. Is there any? I was watching funding for Fartcoin, and it was always fairly positive. It never went crazy negative. Like, can you give any insight on what the game here is for market makers like Wintermute? Do they hold the supply long term? Do they hedge it out by shorting and then sell slowly? Like, do you have any insight on what normal practices are? I know in this case it could be different, but
as soon as they start to believe that there's a deal and they're going to get a deal confirmed, then they can start shorting. So I don't know exactly how that conversation went. Maybe the deal happened and then they shorted and they just dumped it. There's two ways it can go. One is like you pre-hedge on perps. You might not see the funding go negative because, you know, I think it was about $25 million worth. That may not show up if it's like a super active coin. It might not like wreck the funding. They might have just partially hedged it a little bit. Or they say, look, like we're going to take slippage, sell it to us for 20% lower. And then they just slowly sell and try to avoid. Obviously, it went down much more than 20%. So I'm assuming that, you know, they were pretty aggressive on hedging. And I'm seeing a lot of people like blame them for killing a bunch of coins. I think their explanation was that usually when people are selling, they sell on the sexes first, so they have to rebalance by selling on chain. And what everyone's seeing, they're selling on chain, they're sort of like rebalancing. So not exactly sure, you know, who do we blame this for, as we've talked about in previous episodes. But I don't think it's Wintermute. I think it's just the fact that people want to sell and they want to get out and they want to find the next thing, just as they did with Trump. And I think that the Trump coin and the Melania coin has accelerated the amount of rotation because now everyone is just realizing that liquidity can get drained. I mean, Pengu was such a strong meme coin. It was the biggest, you know, like meme coin on Solana, and Trump comes out and like it's like an earthquake, and you know we have to like rebalance. Hopefully that one kind of bounces back, but I think they had a combination of Trump coming out and then Abstract launching. So some of the people that were just trying to get an airdrop just sold it as well. So they have to go back to community building now, and Luca's going to have to do his thing and just sort of, you know, build back the fundamentals.
I see a lot of questions about ETH strategy. Do you guys mind if I give a quick update?
Go for it.
Yeah, They're asking
Cool.
for a strategy.
So I've been working on this project ETH strategy. Our goal was to basically see if we could build a DAO up to replicate Michael Strategy's Michael Saylor's MicroStrategy strategy on chain in a fully transparent manner. We had a whitelist yesterday that we opened up for whitelist deposits, and we were expecting to raise a lot more capital than we did. About 1.5 million has come in from whitelisters so far. And now we're sort of trying to decide if we should remove the whitelist, if the community has interest in funding this further, or if we should go ahead and return funds now. But I see some questions here. When we opened up, or before we announced launch, when we opened up the web app, people were able to get in and start depositing early. They deposited to a different address we also controlled. We were able to recover the funds and move the funds over into the original and intended vault. So no capital is lost. We're completely safe there. But we're trying to decide now, how much demand there is for this product and if we should remove the whitelist and allow anyone to deposit. So that's sort of where we're at in our mind. It didn't really make sense to launch this thing unless 10,000 ETH were raised. We're well short of that, but we did have a limited deposit list of whitelisted addresses. So now we're trying to see best next steps of, whether to keep building this thing and what the community wants.
Yeah, and why did you start this to begin with? Like, you wanted to pump ETH, like you need to rescue ETH from the pits of despair.
Yeah, I mean, really, like, I think the only problem ETH has right now is just a lack of clear leadership, and people like. I've saw this take on Blockworks, and I very much agree with it. Is like there's no such thing as decentralized leadership, or that's just there is such a thing as it, but it's not that effective. Like if you want to get things done, the leadership has to be centralized, and there has to be a leader. And I think that's actually okay. I think you can have a decentralized chain with centralized leadership. Like I think that's totally fine. And I do think there's also merit to letting anyone contribute to a system, which I think Ethereum strives for. But the fact is there's no leadership. And I think by doing these types of things, we can grow our voice as a community. If we're controlling a lot of the ETH supply, we can have a better say in the direction. And then also, I think the Michael Saylor strategy is generally just good for the ETH price, right? Having like a consistent buyer. So that's what we were trying to replicate on chain. We were trying to get a more of a voice for the community, and then trying to raise capital to buy more ETH that would basically be locked up seemingly forever. And I think, there's a few teams building this now. We were the first to sort of launch deposits. There's a couple other people building it. We'll see how much demand there is for it. I thought and was hoping there'd be more. And so now we'll just figure out what the community wants for next steps.
Well, ETH is up 6% today, so.
Is that me?
People are buying the deposit, but it's pretty impressive. It's
good ETH day.
It's a good ETH day. Like I'm happy for them.
My meth and crystal meth are both cooking. So one of the other things going on this week was there's a lot of brouhaha around Coinbase listings and a lot of annoyance around their listings. There have been mainly negative things to say. It seems to have kind of boiled over with virtuals not getting a listing, and then sort of let's say like less established coins. We had this VVV thing, which is Eric Voorhees' project, Venice, which is allowing people to use LLMs in a more sort of jailbroken way without censorship, kind of in the ethos of crypto, which is a cool idea if you ask me. But they got a day one Coinbase listing. Well, what people feel has been the flagship of the base revival, virtuals being the highest market cap, in the sort of 2+ billion range, has not been getting a listing. We had some tweets from one of the founders. We can put it up here, but they're asking for at least transparency and for all the hard work people are doing building on base. I've seen this shit before. Sometimes companies like Coinbase that are very regulatorily minded, not only will they not give preferential treatment to coins in their ecosystem, in fact, they'll do the opposite. They will punish them with more regulatory scrutiny for being in their ecosystem because they're more worried about getting accused, of like preferential treatment. So you end up getting the opposite. You get like less preferential treatment than the average Solana coin, which has been getting listed. And yeah, you guys see the tweet here. He says thousands of teams and virtuals are building agents. Startup life is hard, and they're asking for a clear framework for listing. So we did see Jesse from Base start to publicly. He responded here. He says 100% heard, working on it. And then they had a conversation with, I think the Bitcoin listing or legal. And
Paul Grewal, yeah.
Yes, that is the chief legal officer. So we had some of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points here. Basically, they evaluate. Yeah, go ahead.
I listened to it. It was just like a bunch of mumbo jumbo, right? Just like, oh yeah, like we take this seriously. There's a rigorous process. There's a lot of tokens. I don't really think they answered the questions well. It's just like things we already know. But like to claim that we take this seriously and they list VVV over virtual is kind of weird, right? I don't really know like what they're thinking there. Especially, I think some insiders dumped VVV, like Aerodrome contributors got fired because they were insider trading, and then the token's like down only. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I mean, it's just so weird, our space, right? Like there was the Trump launch and there was all this insider activity. I mean, just think about all of the teams that knew it was the official Trump coin. Moonshot, probably Phantom, Jupiter, people in the Solana ecosystem. And that was, just free money. And then also it seems like this might have happened here on a much smaller scale, but it does seem credible that, yeah, Aerodrome team members knew about the token before an insider traded it. These things are tough. I mean, it's hard. It's hard to do these launches without information leaking, and because our spaces can be anonymous, people do these things. I do think Eric's a good person in this space, and I think the listing is probably less about him being an insider and more about him being just very credible, and yeah, also to some extent very connected to where he can organize like a proper token launch with the listing.
I think the listing is fine. I think it was more annoying that other things are not getting listed on Base, like the big Base projects. And I'm sure there's some regulatory reasons. I think virtuals, they have their token being used as like the denomination of other coins, and maybe that kind of triggers some weird SEC thing. I don't know. That might be one of the issues. But when we have peanut listing and things like this that are Solana based and sort of random coins, and not having like the large AI coins on Base list, then obviously Jesse's going to be pushing them, and I expect that they'll do their best now. They will probably prioritize to rebalance and catch up a little bit on listing based things. So,
well, I want to point out, like, I question Taiki, are you just a little salty with Eric because he sort of called you out here in this tweet here? I'm not sure if you guys saw this, but he says basically meme coins are fun, but it is zero-sum gambling. It's roulette with better odds. And then he says, for those who don't know, it's just gambling. For example, for those who have a thesis on Fartcoin are going to have a hard time in life. Taiki, I mean, this is a shot across the bow to you. Is this why you're upset?
Not gonna lie, I saw this. I thought I thought about quote tweeting him and ratioing him, but I was like, you know what, like he's generally a good guy, so I'm not gonna do that to him.
Also, he's one of those like figures like Kobe, not quite Kobe level, but like you just can't go after him. It's like if you go after the king, you best not miss.
Yeah, and he's not wrong. I have an investment thesis on Fartcoin, and I've been having a hard time. So he's technically right. It's like, well, who am I to argue against him?
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're just an asshole.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there has been a little bit of like annoyance around what the winners are and what things are getting listing, what things are getting liquidity, what things are not. We saw this tweet here, Jill Gunter, sorry, and this seems to be a common reaction from builders saying, I'm done with energy in this industry. It's all about the rug pull. I saw Wall Street rip off retail, and I wanted to come into crypto, but actually it's replicated it and it's exacerbated it. And most of us building have made enough to be comfortable, but the reason we're here is, we have a long-term vision. This was a response to a tweet saying that, these infra coins are launching 18 months too late and their narrative's too late. Restaking, it would have ripped if it was earlier, and now they're just going to be zeros. It's definitely going to be frustrating for people that are actually trying to build fundamentally, useful things, seeing what's going on. And not just that, I think on the investor side, the VC side, be talking to people here, everyone seems to know somebody who made, tens of millions of dollars on Trump coin, whether they were like insiders or not, usually insiders. You guys saw Ran from Crypto Banter saying that he knew about Melania coin. Like people know about these coins. Obviously, these things are spreading before they happen.
Yeah, I'm trying to find the tweet, but he basically said, Melania was a mistake for the Trump token, but I'm really happy about it because I heard about it early before launch and I was able to make money off it and I did well, but really gives you a bad taste.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
He's bragging.
Yeah.
It's like that Big Short scene. It's like, why are they admitting to the crime? They're not admitting, they're bragging. It's.
I mean, it starts to bring up what is the ethics. So I mean, if you just hear about something and you act on it, we're not dealing with securities. These are like random liquidity pools. I don't even know what to call them. I think the problem is that people are buying this stuff and that it has no value and they buy it anyway. And so everybody just sort of follows what they can. And I've heard a lot of stories of, like the Trump people that have been buying, Ferraris and I don't, all kinds of stuff with the money they made from this token. Makes you think, and it makes you kind of wonder where the blame is. It's not clear, apart from the stupidity of the people buying.
I mean, the one thing I'll say is because this stuff is happening on chain, that gives me a little less sympathy for like the people buying and losing money, because if you're able to buy this stuff on chain, it is sort of like buyer beware. Like we all know the game. We all know these things are not worth anything. And we all know everyone's playing the same game of buying, hoping there's another buyer down the road that you could sell to for a higher price. I think it's very clear like what the game is, but it is definitely rigged to insiders. But I do think like our space generally is aware of that and they know what they're playing against at least, which is to me the most important thing.
Yeah, and that's why people are so mad this cycle, right? Just like Bitcoin's doing well, but everything else is just like, what the fuck are these things? Speaking of like delayed launches, do you guys have any thoughts on like Berachain? I don't have strong thoughts. I know they recently opened up like farming vaults. There's like a 90-day lock though, so I'm not sure how interested I would be, but I was wondering, like Jordy, if you looked into Berachain. I know like the VCs are really bullish, and like some community members are bullish, but I'm a little skeptical. What do you think?
Feels like it's going to start off well because there is this excitement and the farming meta is there. They're very degen in terms of the farming. That's the whole concept of everything they're doing. So you can imagine all kinds of like 10,000% APYs. Now, whether they're actually going to be real or not or whatever, who knows what's going on. But it does create a casino around, the Pendles and the YTs and the PTs and, trying to figure out what the token's going to be worth. So I'm expecting a pretty good launch around the speculation of what is this thing going to trade at. Whenever you see a lot of price discovery, because some people might think it's going to launch at 3, some people might think it's going to launch at 30. So there's going to be a lot of price discovery and activity. So people who make good calls will make money. And so it'll be a good casino for a while. And then we'll have to see kind of how strong the ecosystem that they've built is. Obviously, like you said, it was supposed to launch last year. So it's bad in some ways, but in some ways it's good because the teams have had more time now to hopefully be more polished. And
Yeah, I was gonna say I've been following this somewhat closely, and the way I'm thinking about it is I think it has like a very high potential to be like a hyperliquid situation where it launches somewhere around 4, and then I could easily see it going up, to $20 or something along those lines, or 4 billion to, let's say 20 billion. Because there's one important thing to note here. It literally only takes one application for the inflows to the chain to be massive, right? Like it only needs to take one new DeFi app, one new social app, one new, you know, pump.fun style app, and this thing is the new meta, and it already has so much attention. So for me, like, I mean, my opinion could change when it actually launches, and we'll see where it launches at. But I actually think there's probably could be a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think there'll be opportunity for sure. There'll be opportunity. Now, with these things, you always have to not be the last bag holder. You want to kind of play the game well. So let's see how that goes. But it'll be a fun one, I think. Joshua is asking about Monad. What about Monad? Will that ever launch? I mean, I'm an investor in Monad. I think Justin, Taiki, are you also?
No, I'm not.
You're not. Okay. All right. So you can be the neutral party. They had the best vibes, obviously, during 2023, 4, very, very like good community vibes. I think now it's just time to get something out. They promised like very, very good TPS. I think, people want to get the product live, and
It also
Mega
is a
ETH
stellar
also going
team. Like,
live.
I mean, we've
Yeah.
definitely seen that firsthand. Like they're not the team. Like Berachain is like in my opinion, like the opposite style. Like Berachain focuses on throwing like the best raves and the best parties. Like their token 2049 Singapore party is, still talked about to this day. Whereas Modad, like they hold like, builder events where they invite builders in, support them at hackathon. So it's just like totally opposite vibes, and I guess sort of pick your poison here of what you're interested in. But I'm hopeful. I agree with Jordy though. They just have to get something out. I tweeted earlier this week that like the age of the roadmap is over, the age of execution has begun. And like I think 2024 was really where like the rubber has to hit the road. Like we really need to see things live instead of just roadmaps. And that tweet was targeted ETH specifically, but
Yeah.
There's like Mega ETH too, right? Like Mega ETH and Monad's supposed to be high throughput. Berachain is supposed to be like Ponzi chain, or like fun chain, whatever, right? Proof of liquidity, all that. Maybe that's like Bear's like all to ones, but I'm not even sure. I guess the point of the cycle, like Solana has done well because they built like the best casino. So all these other projects have to also build a good casino, and that remains to be seen.
Yeah. We're getting a question, a very insistent question from LB here. Can Jordy please list the potential problems he sees for Bitcoin in the future? I guess that's definitely relevant given I'm at Satoshi Roundtable, which is, I wouldn't say it's an ETH Maxi, BTC Maxi event, but definitely it's a bit cultish, like they really try to be like, we're winning, like everyone's clapping, like it's very exciting. There's an actual like round table where like, people are sitting around, and
wow.
it's hundreds of people.
Is there anyone there that you suspect could be Satoshi, Jordy?
I don't think I've met anyone that fits. We are all Satoshi. And we've had some news this week. We saw the Czech central bank is going to consider putting Bitcoin on the balance sheet, similar to what El Salvador did, but they're not a tiny. I mean, I guess they're a richer country, so their reserves are much bigger. So even a small allocation would be in the billions. It wouldn't be in the hundreds of millions. Maybe it would be 10 times bigger. But I have seen Lagarde and the ECB try to smack it down and say that, we are confident that there will not be any Bitcoin on the balance sheets of our central banks. It's a very interesting game theory. Like you want to be early. If this is going to be a thing,
like it's over. They've
well,
it's the meme of like we're inventing AI here and they're innovating on the bottle cap. It's over.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, each country in Europe does have their own reserves, right? Like to a certain extent, they can decide what they want to do with their own reserves. I remember 5 years ago, I tried to contact the Cyprus central banker, the head of the central bank, and tell him that they should put some of the gold and convert it into Bitcoin. Because trust me, bro, it's like the next big thing. And you know, like the ECB just doesn't. Actually, like I think they're just aligned with the ECB. Like they just see this stuff as scam or whatever. But I can imagine like maybe the Czechs or somebody just says, look, we want to do it, we're going to do it, and if nobody else wants to follow, that's okay.
I mean, I think that's the, you know what I liken it to in the US. So we're seeing like different states start to explore whether they want Bitcoin on the balance sheet. And to me, it feels like, I don't know if you guys remember when medical marijuana and legal marijuana was niche. It was like 1 or 2 states would do it. And then there would be like a contagion effect where everyone would have to do it. And now it's about half the states have legal marijuana. I think it's going to be the same with Bitcoin. I mean, I think it's probably much harder to do something through Congress or on the federal level. But if individual states can do this, I mean, surely that's going to start to happen, right? We're already seeing that. And then it, like you said, Jordy, it's just this competition and everyone has to do it. So I do think that is quite exciting and bullish.
Yeah. On the other hand, I mean, just the question was around the problems, I guess, the problems of Bitcoin. The problems.
Just real quick though. Do you guys think because we're seeing Wall Street adopt Bitcoin, different countries, maybe different states in the US, very wealthy funds, people, countries, etc., buying Bitcoin, does that mean like we might not have a 75% drawdown on Bitcoin this cycle in your mind?
I don't think we can have it from this level. I mean, if we go to 500K, then maybe we can.
Yeah, but from here we'd go back to like 25K, and then it's probably over for crypto.
Well, I'm pretty sure we'll have a big drawdown. I don't know if it's like 60, 70, 80, but you know,
yeah,
it always happens.
Yeah. Anyway, just to kind of at least answer the question, there's a few problems with Bitcoin. The main problem is the free rider problem. There's 4 or 5 problems, and you know, this is speaking as somebody who, as I've said, like kind of came into the space as a Bitcoin maxi, and so I'm very much still, you know, aligned in a lot of the ethos of Bitcoin, but having really gone through the full analysis, one problem, free rider problem. So you can hodl, and in fact, it's part of the culture to hodl. Like we all need to hodl to make this a thing. So it's encouraged. You hodl. There's a huge problem with hodling. You're getting a free benefit without doing anything. You can just sit around, never spread Bitcoin or talk about it or do anything positive for it, and you can get the benefit from the people that are evangelizing and spreading it and doing all this stuff. Sounds okay. It's not okay. At some scale, this breaks things. And you know, they were describing something as like positive, which is all these people are going to have to buy coins, and we're not going to sell them our coins, so they're not going to be able to get coins, and then they're going to need to get coins, and it's going to drive the price up. The fact that there's no velocity of money, and like the people don't need to sell the coins, and there's no there's no inflation, so like you get the full benefit just by hodling, you start running into problems at the extremes. And people never think from first principles. They just think about the current reality right now. Here's what's happening. We're not at an extreme. Like there's still enough coins going around. There's people selling, especially in Asia, you know, a lot of the miners. But at the extremes, as you get to a hyper Bitcoinized environment, let's say, the laws of like physics that work now for Bitcoin don't work. And the free rider problem is the main problem. It's very easy for somebody to just keep hodling 100,000 coins, 50,000 coins that they got, you know, a long time ago. The amount of income inequality or like wealth inequality that it causes because there's not enough coins. At the extreme, it doesn't work. However, we're far from the extreme. Things can go up a lot. And so I remain bullish.
Jordy, but what do you mean by it doesn't work? I mean, I think what you mean is it doesn't work for society. But Bitcoin can continue to thrive even if there's this massive inequality, right? Like we could just see the inequality continue to rise on as it regards to Bitcoin holders. But like theoretically, like there's nothing fundamentally broken about Bitcoin in that regard. It's just something that's not censorable. Governments can't confiscate it theoretically. And so like, why is it a core problem for Bitcoin if it becomes extremely unequal? I mean, it's a core problem for the thesis that this can be used for a global currency, but I don't really see most people talking about that now. I think most people just think, it's a reserve asset for you personally or for governments, akin to gold.
So gold is a very unique asset. I call gold like the central bank equivalent of Bitcoin. Like it's central banks mainly playing with each other, and then like a bunch of people just hold it because of traditional reasons, or like Indians and Vietnamese, they just hold it cultural reasons. When you say it doesn't work for society, like that's a pretty big deal. Like it's a social construct. So if it doesn't work for society, then like what is it? Like that's the whole point. It's supposed to work for society, and it works very well right now. You can move around with like your seed phrase in your head, and you can cross borders, and you can do all this stuff. That's great. So it works amazingly well for what it is. I think as a basis for the financial economy of the world, it starts to run into problems. And the problems I'm talking about is you have like OG whales that don't do anything, and then they just start getting the benefit of the labor of like hundreds of millions of people because their country decided they're going to put their entire reserves into Bitcoin. So one OG whale will have as much financial wealth as like an entire country that just put their reserves in Bitcoin. It's a very tricky problem, and it only manifests there. Obviously, the second one is the security budget problem, which in like 3 or 4 halvenings will reappear as a.
It seems to me that's a non-issue though. Like it's just going to be fixed, and by the time it's a problem in a few years, Bitcoin will be so established in consensus that the small change they're going to have to make is fine, right?
Well, it's a hard fork, right? So a hard fork is not going to be a small change, and Bitcoiners are very much divided between the forward-looking ones, the ones who adopt things like BRC20s and ordinals, and like they just think about things very holistically, and then you have like the very traditionalists who don't want any change to anything. They just want to go down with the ship.
If you could wave a magic wand to fix like the Bitcoin inequality problem, is there any solution in your mind that could work? What would you do?
It's difficult. I mean, ultimately, like a currency having like velocity, like being forced velocity, is generally a good thing for its use as a monetary basis. And the dollar has a decent amount of velocity. There's other issues with the dollar. There's no perfect choice, which is why Bitcoin will continue to be like one of the few choices that people have. My point is just like from a first principles perspective, it can do very well in this like 100,000 to 500,000 range, and then things start to break like very quickly after that. And we haven't seen those things break, but they're there.
I don't know. From like a degen's perspective, I feel like I think Justin can agree with me, but I think after this cycle, I think most of us are going to just become Bitcoin maxis.
Well, I'm already there, but I just don't think it's the right time, right? So like you can't become a Bitcoin maxi when ETH BTC is at 0.03. That just feels wrong. But if we get a bounce, I'm out.
Yeah. I like this comment. Somebody, Weird Aldo says, 0.05% tax. I solved it. No need to thank me. Like having some just like annual tax on holding, creating velocity. Like maybe you take those coins and you do something useful with them. Could be something.
I saw this was a troll from Jason Calcanis of the All In podcast, but he said, what if to raise our Bitcoin strategy reserve, instead of like charging capital gains in dollars when you sell crypto, like specifically Bitcoin, ETH, Solana, etc., what if the government just collected the coins? And that's like a redistribution mechanism, right? If that's what you're trying to solve and get Bitcoin into the hands of the government and then in the hands of people that don't have it, right? That's one way to do it.
What do you mean the government's going to pay welfare in like in cryptocurrencies? Like they're just going to like
Well, no,
airdrop
but it's the
people
same.
some
If the
like
government's treasury is Bitcoin, right? Then their dollars are partially backed by Bitcoin, and then you can, I mean, we're in a stimulus world, right? And give out stimulus in dollars backed by Bitcoin.
so like if you pay gains in your Melania tokens and then the government gets them and then just gives them to homeless
It only
people.
works for the real coins, no shit coins. Trump, Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. Those are the four.
Trump, the real ones. Yeah.
Somebody HKKT asking if I'm in favor of CBDCs. I'm worried about CBDCs. I think that we will get those, and it'll be a way for governments to control how people use their money. So that will potentially like not be a positive thing. And yeah, we'll have to hope that doesn't happen anytime soon. By the way, we are close to 10,000 subscribers, very, very close. If we can get some subscribes and hopefully reach it right away.
That would be nice.
That would be nice.
No, we've been doing this for
10,000
weeks.
subs for $10,000 ETH. We have to manifest it.
Maybe in the year, maybe when we're like 80 years old.
The other thing I'm thinking is like, what is the money that AIs will use? Like as these agents get very powerful, they probably don't want to use US dollars. They want something, especially like, if they're doing anything on chain, they're going to want something non-censorable. It feels like there's going to be another currency that will be designed specifically for AI usage, like AI agents being able to use it. I think in the short term, it can be like something like ETH, which is maybe like bullish ETH in the medium term. But there might be something purpose-built for AI agents to use to transact and to have something that's maybe more private, privacy preserving, and yeah, just sort of like very high throughput. Because imagine like the amount of throughput of billions of agents. It's probably going to be something different. So not something to expect for a few years, but that'll be something interesting.
Yeah.
What do you think the agents will be doing? Because you talk to a lot of teams building agents, and we've talked about that on the show. Like, what are the use cases in your mind?
Yeah, most of the stuff right now, I don't find it too interesting. It's mainly like people trying to do alpha, like trading alpha, or research alpha, investing alpha. Yeah, this concept of like alpha, I feel like it's not an equilibrium. Like at an equilibrium, the alpha sort of dissipates, and if it's such a commodity, like an agent could do it. It doesn't make sense. So,
do you think in the future it'll be like everyone will have their own agent, and like because their agent can use blockchain rails, your agent can order groceries for you through an app, right, and just handle everything? Is that what you're seeing, sort of long term, or?
I think the long term is going to be like a very customized agent that is got all of your information in a private way. It knows what you are trying to do. It knows about you, knows how to interact with you. Hopefully going to be like run locally on some secure enclave on your device. It'll be specialized, so it won't be these like super generalized things. It'll be like trained on what you need, and then it'll just help make your life better and like do your. I can't tell you how many times I have to click on chain every day. Like if I can just have an agent do everything and send the coins, and that'd be great. Of course, it's not going to get there quickly, and as with electric vehicles, where like a single accident has delayed the advent of electronic taxis for years and years, because we're so risk averse. We're also going to have like cases of jailbreaking of wallets, and agents going to lose their money, and that'll make people more hesitant to give $1 million to a code to run. But long term, I think that they will be amazing personalized assistants. And the thing that I would love to see, I've always believed in, is that in the future, this technology hopefully will allow people to have their financial lives run in a good way. the thing I hate about the world right now is that everybody has financial lives. Everybody has to make financial decisions. And if you're a doctor, if you're a teacher, if you're a surgeon, you're studying something that's not finance and you're not very sophisticated. And, you know, like our mothers are not going to be like, you know, properly allocating their portfolio. But what AI can do is hopefully democratize the things that I know about how to run my portfolio and just like let everybody make pretty good decisions. It's not going to be, you know, not everyone's going to be Druckenmiller, but if everybody can avoid retarded mistakes, that's such a huge win for society. So I would love to build it one day, but I don't have time.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah,
retirement as a retirement project.
Yeah, I think someone in the chat was asking like if someone could build like a startup in crypto, like what would it be? It should probably be something with AI, right? I don't know what it is, but something with trading or probably like, you know, you have to go where the puck is going, and obviously AI
I have to say though, like the one annoying thing, and I'm seeing like a lot of these people here at the event, all these like projects I've been speaking to for like over a year, so I know their deck, I know everything about them. I look at their like recent version of their description, and they're all AI agents now. Like it was like something completely different, and now they just call themselves like, you know, they put some AI everywhere. So yeah, like you probably want to build an AI, but it's getting a little bit like noisy. It's getting noisy.
Yeah. If there aren't any more questions, should we do like pasta? We can scroll
do
up to see it.
pasta. Yeah.
Don't
Someone's
feel great
asking
about
like last
pasta
thing.
this week.
Someone's asking about how long until AGI is achieved. It's such a fascinating question. Like, I love the fact that crypto has AI now, because I'm so busy with crypto that I haven't had time to, over the last 5 years, to keep up with AI. But because now the two worlds have merged, it's actually a productive use of my time to be like studying Web 2 AI, because now I can see like what's going to happen. And you know, Demis Hassabis and Dario and Sam Altman, you know, these guys are obviously at the forefront. They're making frontier agents. They're answering this question about AGI. They all have completely different answers. Part of it is the description of what AGI is different. I think Demis has the best description, but you know, Sam is kind of using his to maybe get people excited that something is like really
What is
coming.
the best description that you've heard?
We'll need to find his exact interview, but he's basically you know, putting it in human terms that, you know, an AGI can you know, do all the things that a human, like a very, very intelligent human, can do. And I think if you make it sound like it's coming sooner, then you can get a lot of investment. And Sam obviously is trying to raise, I think, at $340 billion, 30 billion round, which is just insane for a private market. I mean, we never see private companies. It's like the equivalent of like Monad doing a round at like, you know, 80 billion. Like maybe you can get to 80 billion once you go public, but like you're not supposed to do these like insane valuations.
But also after what happened with DeepSeek, where you know, their model is as competitive as the latest OpenAI model, and more cost effective, or almost as good, 99% there, but much more cheaper. So it's interesting.
I think I got Sam a little bit agitated. I saw this tweet. I don't know if this is real. Is this actually Sam here? He says, launch the porn Sora. Desperate times.
He can raise it a trillion valuation if he can do that.
I'm surprised we haven't heard of like some company in that category make $1 billion.
So there is
yet.
a crypto startup. Thread guy was doing a stream, and he was doing a pitch stream. 10 projects pitched him. One of them is doing like have your own AI agent, like OnlyFans person, and pay them with crypto.
Yeah, no, I know a lot of like that type. I actually invested in one.
That's Taiki's specialty, actually.
Yeah, it's my specialty. It's
the
my,
barbell of fart coin and digital porn.
Product market fit.
Man, Taiki, you've come a long way since being a DeFi farmer.
Yeah, can we go back to the Uniswap and Maker DAO thesis?
I still have my farmer hat, you know.
You probably haven't put that on in a long time. When's the last time you put that on?
Probably right before I bought Fartcoin.
Okay. So it's
like, yeah, so a few months ago. But like after like hopefully if I don't round trip and make decent money, I'll be farming later this year.
Yes,
hopefully.
I'm also praying to exit my bags at the top and then just farm stables for the rest of my life.
we have Pat Murphy has a message for you, and we'll go to pasta. But Pat Murphy says a message for Taiki. Says look at Goat. Fart is next. We saw what happened to Goat. I'm not commenting. That was Pat's. Let's move on
okay.
that note. It's okay.
Yeah. We need the people that don't believe like Jordy Alexander, because he's gonna buy my bags higher. He's gonna buy the breakout to $30. And I'm gonna dump it right on you, Jordy.
Okay, I'm not sure that's gonna happen, but we can hope.
No, you gotta Taiki, your exit is getting your Fartcoin to Selene so Jordy can be, a Fartcoin market maker at 30 bill FTV.
They decided not to get market makers, so I am no longer aligned on the Fartcoin thesis. So I will stay off of that one. Cool. Let's move to pasta.
All right.
Taiki, let's have you kick off.
All right. So this is going to be a short video. I think it was very fitting with the recent meta of, I guess, these Web2 companies dropping tokens. So if you can play this for me, Justin.
Fuck it. I'm in. Fuck Series B. Pied Piper coin is totally going to work.
Yes, it is. It totally is.
Fuck it.
Right now, right? Was there like a lag? But anyways, yeah, it kind of feels like that's what's happening. It's like all these unsuccessful Web2 startups are like, fuck it, let's just drop a token on Pump Fund and see what happens. But the irony here is that for these companies to like raise money through Pump Fund, they have to dump the token, right? They have to pump the token and then dump it, and then they can fund their thing, which could work, right? I mean, I'm sure there's going to be a few companies that will come out of this like a unicorn, but
did any of you guys buy Vine? We saw it. I saw it in a group chat very early on, but we thought it was a scam. And now it's at 200 mil FDV. Did any of you guys catch this one?
No, I thought it was a scam because the founder video looked super AI.
Yes, and I was the only one in our group chat, Taiki, saying it was real. And you guys fudded me out of my position.
This thing hit like 500 mil. It's crazy.
Still down 50%, down 25% on the day. So it's maybe not the pristine example of a legit successful token. I'll do my pasta. I'll leave you for last, Justin. Maybe you can kind of. Oh, you want to go first? Go ahead. You
no,
ready?
I just don't feel. No,
okay.
You got it. I just don't feel great about my pasta, but yours are weak so far, so we'll see.
Okay. Well, on the note of meme coins, I have my Twitter pasta here. Apparently, somebody had a Chipotle order coming to him, and the name of the driver is Murad. So this tweet says the meme coin super cycle is over. Murad is approaching with your order from Chipotle. So, bear market vibes. And honorary submission. This is I'll stay with that submission. But I loved this video. If we can play this video, this is an AI Gary Gensler diss track. Can you put this on blast? So good.
Oh, wow,
Gary's on the beat, ho. Aye. Gary's on the beat, ho. We know why this criminal fired me, bro. Short down. Market started screaming, oh, geez, bro. Need you back. Save us from this shit. Gary, please. No. Fuck them little crypto bros asking for hugs. Tried to laugh me out the SEC. They get rugs. First they wanted ETFs, pump funds, levered options. Now it's Trump's camp launching coins. Somebody stop them. Stop them. Stop them. Stop them. Let them burn and laugh my ass off while I'm watching. Sometimes you gotta walk away to let them miss you. On-chain crime tidal wave, let it hit you. I'm smiling ear to ear, Baron, take a picture. Whipped you, I'm a little bitcher, so you're richer? Say, folks, I hear you like scams. Don't come crying to me, it's out of my hands. I tried to help you, but Donald had other plans. I guess a few more rugs, you'll understand. It's kind of funny how you were all scared of me. And now you get the whole Trump family. You said you didn't need protection, but it's evident. Certified rubber boy? Nah, that's your president. Drop.
Wow, what a great
It's
video.
incredibly good. Like
These are getting so
everybody-
good.
This is like
Yeah.
phenomenally good. The lyrics as well. Just
I'm gonna
You know,
drop
I-
the link in our chat in the comment section if anyone wants to watch this on their own time. So
drop the
good.
link. I wouldn't say that I miss Gary, but you know, crime tidal wave is here, and
Yeah, I think when we saw
Yeah.
the Trump coin drop, we were all like, "Yeah, Gary was right."
Hey, please come
But
back.
Jordy, why wasn't that your main pasta? I mean, you're gonna get hit in the vote so hard. People are gonna treat that as your main pasta because that was the best. That was best. That was amazing.
let's see what you got. You don't seem to feel good about. Let's see what you got.
I can't follow that. I could have followed your first pasta, but I got another Ethereum down bad pasta. Naive Meme, who's actually a great account Taiki just turned me on to with awesome memes. It says my Ethereum bag here. And this is us today too. We're going up. Oh, wait, no, we're good. We're good. We got it. Oh, we're good. This is us literally right now.
this is us right now.
Oh. This is like we just go up from 3,000 to 4,000, and when we hit 4,000, crypto markets need to dump. I guess.
Pretty
That's
good.
pretty good. That was the commentary was pretty good. The commentary.
I'm working on my commentary. I know that's where I'm losing out on, but
That's where the magic
for
happens.
the voters though, Jordy's second submission was not his pasta, so just put it out there.
It was a tangential one. All right, let's get the votes up. We'll get
Holy
a.
shit! I'm dominating the vote. Real.
you
Are
serious?
you really?
Yeah. People are upset, Jordy, that you submitted 2 and picked the wrong.
No.
51% of the
God.
vote.
Are there that many
Nah.
like ETH holders in the chat that could relate to this like
Everyone can
this
relate to
bag?
that. It just
Delivery,
everyone's
man.
reading it.
Justin's delivery. Justice
Justice
for
for-
Justin.
Oh my God, we need some more votes. Please
Yeah.
keep the
You-
vote. Keep it going.
You need the you need high empathy to win these pastas. You need to relate with the audience.
Yeah.
So-
Jobo says we are all ETH dummies. We all have to sell our ETH. ETH support ETH, man. You touched the nerve, Justin. I mean, wow, congrats.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think that's a
guess-
clear win for me.
calling it. Justin actually gets the clear win. Incredible.
Yeah.
Could have used the second pasta. I got okay.
You should have used that as your primary. That was one of the best pastas of the year, honestly. That's gonna be like contender for pasta of the year.
As soon as we finish the stream, I'm going to put that song. I'm just going to start vibing in the chat. But
ETH
congrats,
Kamal.
congrats to Justin. ETH memes are ready to come back. I guess it's funny when the price is going up. Just as Taiki was saying, the fart coin stuff is funnier when the price is going up.
Yeah.
So now that ETH is up, the memes are funny now because it's not just pain, it's also a little bit of joy.
Yeah. Are we
Cool.
selling
All
ETH
right.
when it hits 4K again, though? That last thing before we leave, Jordy. Is that like the wall that cannot be breached? Or is this the
So
time?
let's not jinx it. Let's not jinx it.
Okay.
So let's leave it there.
If
Cool.
if I
Alright.
had ETH, I would sell it. At 4.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, good job, Justin. Thanks everybody in the chat for joining. We had a huge audience in the chat again. So thanks for everybody for hopping on short notice. And we will see you next week. Take care.
Peace.